Well, we're here today at Track Silverstone 2021. It's been a fantastic show with a huge variety of cars, including in our fast car culture collection, which this year has been kindly supported by 3M. And I'm delighted to be joined by Ben Snowden at 3M, who I thought could give us a little bit of an overview of vehicle wrapping in general. So Ben, just give us a bit of a background, first of all, about 3M. It's a big company, I know, but just perhaps give us a bit of background to them.
Yeah, absolutely. 3M have got their fingers in many different markets and produce many different products as well, from post-it notes through to sandpaper, through to various other products. But specifically, vehicle wraps is our remit. And they fall into two categories. They fall into colour change, which is typically found in the kind of private vehicle market, so car customizers, and printed wraps, which is often found in fleet and the commercial applications. So, but we do lots of other products as well, from window tinting through to paint protection film as well. So it really is quite a diverse portfolio.
I was trying to think of when I was first aware of vehicle wrapping, including the personal modification market. And it's probably at least 10 years, maybe longer. But perhaps you could talk us through how it's evolved in that time, because a lot's changed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's kind of a fusing of the two markets, really, because colour change has always been incredibly strong. It's been going for years. And like I say, it's people wanting to change the look and customise their vehicle for something specific. And printed wraps are very much around in fleet and commercial. So very kind of run-of-the-mill, from builders' vans through to larger commercial fleets. But what we're finding now is the kind of fusing of the two, and people using custom printed wraps actually on their private cars, on their pride and joys, really to create their own specific designs, colours, decals, just really add another dimension of personalisation.
So they're not just changing the colour, they're creating bespoke graphics that sort of reflect what they want to do with the cars.
Absolutely, or a theme that they want to portray with the car. So there's a car on the 3M stand at the moment, and that's a samurai car. So literally from the details, the door shuts, he's wrapped the inside of the door shuts with a very detailed fine art samurai pattern, through to a larger kind of samurai theme on the outside, and it fits the theme of his car.
Fantastic. Do you have customers that sometimes come back and do a second wrap? They will change the design.
Yeah, absolutely, and they change the design, change the colour. There's people who habitually wrap. The wraps are very, very durable. They'll last for a long time, but people will change them after a year, and that's the beauty of wrap. Is if you get bored of a colour, it's not a respray, which is a costly experience. It's literally have it wrapped, have part of it wrapped, change a detail. I've done it on mine where you want a little bit of a change. I'll change the wing mirror colour. And suddenly, just because you look at that quite often while sitting in the car, it's one of the kind of most important parts when you're sitting as a driver to see the exterior. And suddenly, by changing that, it just gives it a slightly different feel. So it doesn't always have to be kind of budget breaking.
Yeah.
Just really to give your car just a slight detail and a slight change.
And like you say, they're very durable finishes. Obviously, assuming they've been applied by a professional, not sort of done by an amateur. But are there any sort of hints and tips about prolonging the finish of a wrap? The things that people should do or not do, indeed, to make sure they protect the finish?
Yeah, it's just like looking after kind of paintwork on a car as well. So you wouldn't want to leave bird droppings on the car for a prolonged period of time. Tree sap's another one. So literally, if it gets on the wrap, you just wipe it off and clean it off. They're not very fussy. They're very durable. So from a cleaning point of view, it's just maintaining and cleaning as you would do with paint and keeping on top of it. It's when I think wraps are neglected, which they quite often fall into trouble. So when you leave your, I'll use an example from your family, when you leave your car under a tree and it covers the roof. So we had a car in for a rewrap this morning because it'd been basically it sat during lockdown for months and not been cleaned. Therefore, but the same would happen with paint. So,
what do you think the future trends are going to be like? Is that sort of is wrapping here to stay? People are going to sort of continue to personalise the finishes.
I think so. It just is getting stronger and stronger, and specifically during lockdown, there's a massive influx of wrapping. So demand spiked massively. I dare say people weren't out buying beer, so they were putting more money in. No other modifications for that as well. But I think it's going to go further down the reflective avenue that we've got at the moment, where people are having printed reflective wraps, where they can have any colour they want, any specific design they want. But when light hits it, the dimension changes and the image changes. So you can actually see almost a hidden image underneath when light hits it. But it means that people can just express themselves, because that's what the scene's about. It's people expressing themselves and putting themselves across via their car, and wrap just adds another medium to do that.
I suppose as cars get more complex and things like that, being able to personalise the exterior finish is one of those things you can do irrespective of how old the car is or how fast it is. It's just a great way of individual expression.
Absolutely, and as long as you've got a sound base to work with, so something without, dints, dings, and lack of feel, and because obviously the wrap is incredibly fine to contour around the body. So if there's marks underneath, it will show through the wrap. But then that works kind of in the wrap's favour as well. We have branding and graphics underneath many of our wraps, and then when you apply wrap over the top, the logo goes through. So if you've got sponsors supporting your car, you don't have to have white stickers down the side anymore. You can have them actually put underneath and then reused as a printed wrap. It's just a slightly different way of doing it, slightly classier look, I think.
Yeah, that's great. Well, look, thanks very much for your time, Ben. I think we've learned quite a lot about vehicle wrapping. It's clearly a trend here to stay. So, thanks for watching.